If you don't have money to pay for a university degree, then this video is for you. Because not everyone making six figures in 2026 went to university. And before anyone misunderstands me, let me clear the air first. Some people might start with certifications. Some other people could be technical training, apprenticeship, or experience. So I want us to talk about some of these high-paying careers that a lot of people talk less about. And if this type of content resonates with you, I want you to join the family by hitting the subscribe button, tap the like icon, share this video to someone who needs to hear this. Now, the very first on the list, a lot of people assume that everybody working in healthcare, they spend 8 years in medical school. And that is not always true, because there are medical tech roles where your job is operating specialized equipment used to diagnose or monitor patients. So we're talking about people who work with X-ray machines, MRI machines, CT scans, ultrasound equipment. And what makes this role very attractive for a lot of people is that they are usually more structured, they are more technical, and in many cases less chaotic than people imagine healthcare to be. Now, eventually, you hear titles like X-ray technologist, radiologic technologist, MRI tech, CT technologist, diagnostic imaging tech, and it depends on specialization, experience, and even your location. So many people in these roles, they can make anywhere from $70,000 to well over six figures. And most people enter through community college programs, some certifications, or some technical healthcare training, not necessarily a traditional 4 to 5 years university route. Now, this next one, most people, they have no idea that the job even exists. But these are literally some of the people that help keep the power grid stable. So we're talking about professionals who monitor electrical systems, who help to manage power flow, who responds to outages, who helps to prevent major disruptions across large regions. And this sounds intense, but if you're someone who is very good with logic, operating systems, you're good at math, formulas, and just staying calm under pressure, then this field can be very, very rewarding. Now, eventually, you can hear titles like system operators, grid operator, transmission operator, reliability coordinator. And one thing that surprises a lot of people is that many roles in this space do not necessarily require a traditional degree. A lot of people enter through technical background in maybe utility experience, or they take on certifications like the NERC or the TO certifications, and the average pay is always around $100,000 to $140,000 depending on the company, overtime, and your experience. And you can find roles like this through utility companies, energy providers, government energy organizations, and not forgetting specialized power system employers. And to be honest, this is one of those careers where people quietly make very good money, while most people don't even know they exist. Now, a lot of people never think about the maritime industry when talking about high-paying careers, and I don't know why, but there are people that work on tugboats, shipping routes, and maritime operations in general, and they're actually making solid income. And what's interesting is that many people start in entry-level positions and they work their way up by getting experience, by certifications, and sea time. So we're talking about jobs involving navigation, moving vessels, dock operations, marine safety, and also not forgetting marine transportation support. Now, eventually, you can find roles or titles like tugboat captain, deckhand, marine operator, mate, vessel operator, and honestly, depending on the route, the company, overtime, and position, many people in this industry, they can make anywhere from around $80,000 and get close to six figures in the right environment. So you usually find these jobs through shipping companies, maritime unions, ports, authorities. You may also want to look at some marine transportation companies and offshore employers. Now, this next one is constantly overlooked. A lot of people, they drive past the port, the shipping yard every day without even realizing how much money can actually be made there. Because when you talk about global trade, it never stops. You have containers that are constantly moving. You have ships that are constantly arriving. And guess what? someone has to manage all of those heavy cargo movements. So this work involves things like loading and unloading ships, operating equipment, coordinating cargo movement around the port, and working around large-scale shipping operations. Now, yes, this is physical work, I must say, but it's also one of those industries where union pay, overtime, and seniority can dramatically increase income. So now, eventually, you hear titles like longshoreman, dock worker, port operator, stevedore, cargo handler, and depending on the port union, the overtime you take, and the position, some workers can make well over 6 figures or well into 6 figures in some regions. You can find some of the job openings through port authorities, through labor union, shipping terminals, and also maritime employment programs. And to be very honest, this is one of those careers where people quietly build serious wealth. So while most people overlook this industries completely, you have the opportunity to look into it and make better use of the opportunities available. Now, have you ever wondered who is responsible for maintaining substations, electrical infrastructure, transformers that you get to see in substations, and power distribution systems? I know it's a lot of words, but this involves equipment inspection, some troubleshooting, repairs, system testing, and electrical maintenance. And what makes this field really attractive for a lot of people is that it is very specialized, very stable, and it's tied to infrastructure. Many people in this space can make anywhere from around $80,000 per annum to well into the 6 figures, and people enter through technical programs, apprenticeship, utility training, or electrical certifications. So rather than the traditional university pathways, you usually find these jobs through utility companies, some energy providers, some infrastructure contractors, and government energy organizations. Now, this next one, this is where the money starts getting a little shocking, because a lot of people hear welding and they immediately think of regular construction work. But underwater welding and high-level crane operations, they are completely different worlds. Now, these are highly specialized trade tied to offshore projects, oil and gas, marine construction, heavy infrastructure, and industrial operations. So we're talking about people that are working in deep water repairs, underwater structures, large-scale lifting operations, and heavy equipment systems. So now, yes, these jobs can be physically demanding, I won't lie about it, and require some serious training, certifications, and safety standards. But the work is not difficult, it's not technical, and it's something that nobody can actually not do. But the pay as well is very high. When it comes to landing any of this opportunity, look out for underwater welder, commercial diver, crane operator. You can also look out for heavy equipment operator or offshore welder. And also, depending on specialization, contracts, overtime, and environment, a lot of people in this industry, they can make well into 6 figures. And you'll usually find these opportunities through trade schools, through unions, offshore companies, construction firms, industrial employers, and not forgetting maritime contractors. So I know it's a whole lot. I want you to take a quick pause here, and if you made it this far, I want you to drop an emoji below and let me know which one stood out to you the most. Have you actually searched for any of this type of roles? I want you to stay plugged in here. If you know someone that is looking at pivoting into a different type of career and maybe they don't just want to go through the traditional 4 to 5 or 6 years degree program, then plug them in on this video. It's going to really enlighten them and more or less position them to the plethora of opportunities that are out there. Now, this last one isn't one single job title, but it would feel incomplete not to mention it, because when you look at some of the highest earners in the world today, a lot of them are people who build businesses. And no, not every business owner becomes millionaire, but self-employment is one of the few pathways where income is not directly capped by hour or salary structures. Now, the interesting part about this is that a lot of successful business owners did not necessarily follow the traditional university route, like Mark Zuckerberg, for example. But of course, they learned skills like sales, knowing how to problem solve, marketing, working with with systems, communication, and how to solve real world problems. And today, that can look like you running a service business. It can look like operating online brands, can also look like building agencies, can look like starting trade businesses or creating products, or even scaling small local businesses. Now, you want to look out for titles like founder, business owners. People like this, they can be consultants as well, agency owners, entrepreneurs. And unlike your traditional job, the income here varies massively. Some people struggle, and while some people do extremely well. So how can you become a founder? By going through apprenticeship, by freelancing, through experience, maybe online learning, mentorship, or simply starting a small growing community. And honestly, the bigger picture of this video is not that university degree is bad. It's just that there are multiple pathways that build stable income for life. And because a lot of people, they grow up only hearing one route while completely overlooking industries, trades, technical careers, and business paths that quietly actually pays really well. So before you assume success only looks good one way, I want you to take your time to explore what actually fits your strengths, what fits your goal, and the kind of life that you want to build. So now I want to hear from you watching me right now. Which one of these careers surprised you the most, and which one would you genuinely consider looking into? Feel free, drop the comments below. I'm going to be reading them, and please do not forget to watch the next video. I can't wait to read from you all, and I wish you all the very best. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a like, drop your comments, drop your questions, and what type of video would you like to see next? Please drop it below, and feel free to share this video to someone who is considering pivoting into a career. This will really help them. I'll catch you on the next one. Till then, take care and bye for now.